What's good, y'all? Welcome back to Mariah's Untitled Basketball Show, a show where we cover so much fun basketball stuff that we couldn't even come up with the title. We're going to cover some March Madness themed fun, so without further ado, let's get started. All right, we got Sean in the house, and we are going to play a game of fast break. Basically, I'm going to give Sean the names of a few NBA stars, and he's going to tell me whether or not he thinks they ever played in the NCAA tournament. Sean, are you ready?
Absolutely not. I'm pretty nervous, to be honest.
It's a lot harder than you think. So if you want to play along with us at home, go on ahead. But without further ado, let's get started. All right, let's get it. First man up, we got Ben Simmons.
So I know Ben Simmons played at LSU, but
Correct.
I feel like his not being a winner aspect of his game transitioned from college to the NBA. So I'm going to say he did not play in the NCAA tournament.
You are correct. Ben Simmons did not play in the NCAA tournament. Basically, the 2015-2016 LSU team started off strong. They had a couple other five-star recruits, and then they crashed and burned from there with losses to College of Charleston, Texas A&M, beat them by 33 points in the SEC tournament semifinal, and they never went.
You know, it sounds oddly familiar.
It does. All right, let's move on. So next man up, Damian Lillard.
Okay, I know for a fact Dame played at Weber State, and part of me thinks similar to like Ja Morant, he was so good that he brought his team. He won the conference tournament and was so good that he brought his team to like the second round of the tournament.
Wrong. Oh. Dame and the Wildcats were eliminated his freshman and sophomore year in the first round of the NIT. And then Dame had to take a medical redshirt year, his junior year, because of a foot injury. And then they were bounced in the first round of the CBI, and they never made the tournament, which is surprising. But it's kind of like seems to be a theme in Dame's career, like being so good and never quite making it there. Number 3, we got Mr. number 2 splash brother, Klay Thompson.
Ooh, Klay Thompson. I feel like he played like Washington State. I'm going to say he made the tournament.
Klay set the school record for points scored in a single season. He was named midseason candidate for National Player of the Year. However, Washington State's record wasn't enough to reach the NCAA tournament his freshman, his sophomore, or his junior year.
It's crazy because you could tell like they're winning all these awards and they're like hooping on these teams, but it's still not enough to get them into the tournament.
But it is crazy that they got enough recognition because they were so good to get to the NBA. So it's like, hey, it all worked out. But
yeah, the money's probably better in the NBA, you know?
Yeah, exactly. At least outside of the other two guys, Klay's a champion.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So next guy up is Paul George.
Paul George. He played at like Fresno State or something like that.
Yep.
I'm going to say no.
Okay.
Was I right on that one?
You're correct.
How close did he get though?
So Paul George started all 34 games. He appeared in for Fresno State as a freshman. He averaged 14.3 points and 6.2 rebounds per game, but their record wasn't good enough to earn them a spot in the NCAA tournament. However, he was getting a lot of national recognition. He was named one of Sports Illustrated's 16 most interesting players to watch, but it just never happened for Paul George.
Interesting just isn't enough to get you into the tournament. You got to be good.
Exactly. Your team has to be good, which is, but Ben Simmons had a good team. Everybody else, it was kind of like, eh.
Right.
All right. Next man up is Chris Bosh.
Oh, wow. Chris Bosh had to have played in the tournament, right?
Despite his numbers and being ACC Player of the Year at Georgia Tech, the Yellow Jackets finished 15-6 and then they went on for an opening round loss. You were right. I was wrong.
Okay, but an opening round loss. How are you so good and you can't get out of the first round?
Yeah, terrible. I don't like Georgia Tech. I go to Georgia, so I wanted to assume that they didn't go, but
you were blinded by it.
All right, last part of this game, last man up. Let's see if you can get it right. We got Paul Millsap.
Wow, what a name drop.
Right?
I can't imagine Paul Millsap played in the tournament.
Well, he was the first person in NCAA history to lead the nation in rebounding for 3 consecutive years. Louisiana Tech won 15 games his freshman season and 14 his sophomore season. And then that number improved to 20 in 2005, but they lost the quarterfinals of the WAC tournament to end their big dance streak.
Wow.
Yeah. Crazy. It's so crazy to see how many NBA stars never made it to the NCAA tournament.
And not just stars, like people who produced at such a high level for like Paul Millsap, 3 straight years of like scoring increases and still can't, it's not enough to get into the tournament. That's crazy. I think I did okay.
It's crazy, but I will say that says that there's hope for those guys who didn't make it, you know, like they could be the next Klay Thompson or the next Dame. So, hey, good for them. So that was Fast Break. We're going to get into a little bit of Courtside Club. This is a segment where I'm going to look at courtside appearances this NBA season, and I'm going to tell you my 5 favorites so far. Okay, so starting off with number 5, we got Kanye and, well, all of his appearances with his boots. But in particular, Kanye, his boots, and his Kim Kardashian look-alike. I saw that picture and I was like, this is hilarious. Like, I'll never forget that moment. It's kind of iconic. So Kanye, his boots, and Kim Kardashian 2.0, loving it. Now moving on to number 4 on my list, Antonio Brown. Okay, AB, like I've never been more shocked than when I saw AB pull up to the Nets game after walking out and quitting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Like I was like, this dude is really at an NBA game right now. Like that was so crazy, super iconic. So that's got to be number 4 on my list. Now moving on to number 3. This one's a little more wholesome than the last 2. Those were a little controversial. Drake and Adonis cheering their drinks at the Raptors game. It's just so cute. Adonis is living his best life, better life than most of us are used to courtside at the Raptors game. I love that photo. It's adorable. So that's got to be my number 3. This is cemented in my NBA history mind. Spike Lee in his NBA suit. I said this before, but Spike Lee loves basketball more than your favorite player. He loves basketball more than me, more than you combined. Like he had on an NBA crossbody purse. Like you don't get more attached to basketball than that. So that's got to be my second favorite courtside moment of the season. And number one is a little peculiar, a little interesting. Kyrie Irving sitting courtside at his own team's game that he's not allowed to play in. That took some gall, Kyrie, to go sit courtside at your own game. No mask in sight, just sitting there, going in the locker room. So my number 1 favorite courtside moment of the year gotta be Kyrie. I also really liked his fit, so good for you, Kyrie. That was Mariah's Untitled Basketball Show. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We did a little bit of Fast Break with Sean, and then we moved on to some of our favorite courtside moments from this season. If you like this episode, please join us again next week. Like and subscribe. And if you have an idea for the name of my show, please leave it in the comments below. Bye, guys.